In a world full of noise and haste, silence has become a forgotten art. Every day we are surrounded by voices, on social media, in traffic, in conversations that never seem to end. Yet amidst all the chatter, our inner voice, the voice of stillness, grows faint. The Buddha once said, "Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace." He taught that the tongue, though soft and small, can cut deeper than any sword. A careless word can hurt more than a weapon, while a wise word, spoken at the right time, can bring healing and transformation. But what if the most powerful thing we could say was nothing at all? This is not about muting ourselves out of fear. It's about choosing silence from a place of wisdom, learning to speak less and listen more, not just to others, but to the depth of our own being. Today, I want to invite you on a journey, not through argument, but through quiet reflection. A journey that begins with a story and ends with a truth that may change your life forever. Long ago, in the vibrant heart of ancient India, lived a merchant named Arjun. He was known far and wide for his shrewd mind and unmatched wealth. His caravans traveled from kingdom to kingdom, his warehouses were filled with silks and spices, and his home sparkled with gold and jewels. But Arjun was not happy. Though he had everything, fortune, fame, and family, his heart felt empty. His nights were restless. He would lie awake, his mind filled with calculations, regrets, and fears. Worse still, he had a recurring dream. He was lost in a vast desert, calling out, but no one heard. He would awaken drenched in sweat, with a growing sense of loneliness that no luxury could soothe. One day, during a trip to a mountain village, Arjun heard whispers of a Zen master who lived in solitude atop the snowy peaks. It was said that this master had not spoken in years, and yet his presence alone could calm even the most tormented souls. Desperate for peace, Arjun decided to climb the mountain. The path was steep and perilous, but he pressed on, driven by a longing he could no longer ignore. When he finally reached the monastery, he was greeted by a serene monk with eyes that seemed to see through him. Arjun bowed and said, "Master, I am a man of great means, but I cannot buy peace. I have tried everything, but my mind is never still. I fear I am losing myself. Please help me." The master looked at him gently and replied with just one word, "Stay." Arjun blinked. "Stay?" The master nodded. "For 21 days, live as we live. Do not speak, do not judge, do not strive, just observe." With nothing left to lose, Arjun agreed. Day 13. Restlessness and rebellion. The silence was deafening. Arjun's mind rebelled. Thoughts came like waves crashing against his skull. Memories, worries, plans, grievances. He longed to speak, to control, to leave. But the mountain was quiet, and so were the monks. He tried to meditate, but his legs ached. He tried to sleep, but dreams haunted him. "What am I doing here?" he thought. "This is madness." Day 47. Surrender and stillness. Something began to shift. Without the outlet of speech, Arjun's mind started to slow. The monks did not instruct or preach. They swept floors, tended gardens, walked barefoot in the snow, and they did it with such peace that Arjun became curious. He began to mimic them. He swept, he walked, he watched. The birds, the wind, the falling snow, all began to seem like miracles. Day 8 to 14. The desert within. On the 9th day, Arjun sat by a frozen stream and wept. Not out of sorrow, but because he felt, for the first time, the weight of his own noise. He realized how many years he had spent talking over others, never truly listening, even to himself. His mind began to resemble the mountain, still, vast, and unmoving. For the first time in decades, he felt safe. Not because of walls or wealth, but because there was no war within him. Day 15-20. Awakening. One morning, Arjan awoke before sunrise. He stepped outside and saw the horizon glowing. A single thought arose. I am enough, not as a merchant, not as a provider, but simply as a soul in this moment. That day, as he helped a monk tend to a sick bird, he understood compassion, not as a duty, but as a truth. In silence, his heart had begun to speak. Day 21. The Master speaks. At sunrise, Arjan returned to the Zen master. They sat in silence for a long time. Then the master asked, "What did you discover?" Arjan answered, his voice trembling. "That my mind was my own desert. My words were the wind that stirred the dust. In silence, the dust settled, and I saw the oasis within." The master smiled. "Then you are ready to return, not as a merchant of goods, but as a merchant of peace." What did Arjan truly learn? That silence is not emptiness. It is full of answers. We often speak to prove, to defend, to be seen. But what if we chose silence not out of weakness, but out of strength? What if we listened before reacting, breathed before speaking? The Buddha taught that silence is the language of the awakened. In the space between our words, we find presence. In the pause between thoughts, we find clarity. In the quiet of the heart, we find the voice of truth. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of awareness. And in awareness, we heal. Perhaps you too feel overwhelmed. Perhaps your mind feels like a marketplace, noisy, chaotic, always in motion. You don't need to climb a mountain to find peace. You just need to stop, breathe, listen, give yourself 10 minutes a day without talking, without checking your phone, without doing anything. Just be. In that stillness, something ancient awakens. A part of you that doesn't need to perform, compete, or impress. A part of you that simply is. That part is your true self, and it has been waiting patiently behind the noise. Thank you for walking with me on this journey today. If this story resonated with you, if it reminded you of something you've forgotten, or helped you see something more clearly, don't let it fade. Like this video, not just as a click, but as a commitment to your own peace. Share it with someone you love, someone who might be searching for the same quiet you've just touched. Subscribe so we can continue to walk together week by week into the heart of wisdom. And remember, you do not have to shout to be heard. You do not have to run to arrive. You do not have to speak to be understood. You only have to be still. May you be well. May you be peaceful. May you be whole. You see, silence is not just a tool. It is not simply the absence of speech. It is the gateway to a different realm, a sacred space where truth is no longer something we seek outside, but something we awaken within. In silence, the ego begins to dissolve. The need to be right, the urge to win arguments, the hunger to be seen. These fade like morning mist under the warmth of sunlight. When you are truly silent, not just with your lips, but with your heart, you begin to hear things you've long forgotten. The sound of your breath as a gift, not a given. The rhythm of your heartbeat as a reminder you are alive. The quiet presence of life unfolding, without effort, without complaint. Silence is not inactivity. It is pure receptivity. It is the space where intuition speaks, where insight arises, where wisdom finally has a voice. Let me offer you a few gentle practices, small steps to invite silence back into your life. You don't need a monastery or a mountain. You only need a little willingness. Morning stillness. Before the world wakes up, give yourself 5 minutes. Just to sit, to breathe, to be. No phone, no tasks, Just you and the morning light. Listen, feel, let it be sacred. Silent meals. Choose one meal, a day to eat in silence. As you chew, feel the texture. As you swallow, offer gratitude. Let food become meditation. Let eating become prayer. Listening. Without preparing to speak when someone talks, try this. Don't think of your reply. Just listen, deeply, fully, without needing to fix, defend, or compare. Let silence wrap around their words, and your presence will become your greatest gift. Ending the day in quiet before you sleep, sit in darkness. Reflect, not to judge, but to witness. Let go. Offer the day back to the universe and rest in the silence of surrender. We live in a time where loudness is mistaken for strength, where speed is confused with progress, where attention is captured, not earned. But those who change the world, truly change it, often do so not by shouting, but by being a quiet, unwavering presence. Think of the moon, think of the ocean, think of the Buddha under the Bodhi tree. None of them spoke a word, yet all of them moved the soul of the world. Let me leave you with this. What if your silence could heal more than your words ever could? What if your stillness could inspire more than your efforts ever have? What if peace isn't something you chase, but something you uncover beneath all the noise? You don't have to become anything to find peace. You only have to return to what you already are. Silence doesn't make you invisible. It makes you powerful. Final words. An invitation to begin. Again. Dear soul, if you've listened this far, something inside you already knows. There is wisdom in the quiet places. You may not yet know how to explain it, but you felt it. So I invite you, not tomorrow, not next week, but tonight, to sit with yourself in silence, to close your eyes and simply breathe, and to remember, you are already whole. Let silence teach you. Let stillness carry you. Let peace find its way home to you, from my heart to yours. May you walk gently. May you speak wisely. May you live deeply.